Hmm? Ah!
You're listening to the Run for Your Lives podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And this is the Run for Your Lives podcast.
This episode is the supernatural horror film Good Boy, directed by Ben Leonberg and released October 3rd, 2025.
He was such a good boy, though.
The goodest of boys.
Oh man, this poor dog. I was so afraid to watch this movie because I had seen something that made me think it was ending differently than it did. And while it still ended in a sad way, there was still hope, at least for Indy, what I had seen made it sound like the dog was not going to live.
Mm-hmm.
And that this had all been like a death experience. The dog was already dead, or I don't know.
Oh, this movie was the highest searched by a lot on doesthedogdie.com when it released.
Yeah.
More than like ever before.
Yeah. Because I can't. And I didn't want to be spoiled, so I didn't go and look to see what the truth was. So I've just been kind of like, oh, I want to watch this. I want us to cover it. But oh man, is it going to be rough? Am I going to cry?
Is it going to be rough?
Yeah. I made a pun and I wasn't even trying to.
Oh, woof.
Oh, man.
You wouldn't have come to that pun on your own, even if it was led to you by a leash.
Hey, I did come to it on my own. I'm the one that said
it. Okay, don't yell at me. Don't get your hackles up. No.
It's so interesting. I mean, it's not really lore, but the whole, point behind this and why the director decided to do this. He came up with the idea originally kind of from, he had watched Poltergeist, and in Poltergeist, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, it came out in 1982. What are you waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
There's this point where the dog is the first to really sense what's going on in the house, and it became this trope in other horror movies that, animals have this sense, and, I mean, we see it in this movie.
Yeah.
But it gave Ben Leonberg the idea of, oh, I could do a horror movie from the dog's perspective, maybe.
It's very creative. Something I've never seen before, yeah.
And it takes a lot, I think, to come up with something different because I feel like so many things have been done before. And in this case, it was something unique, and he put a lot of faith in his dog because the dog, Indy, is actually Leonberg's dog. This is his dog. It's a Nova Scotia...
Indy.
Named Indy. It's a Nova Scotia duck tolling retriever. And he decided to move forward with this movie after participating in this contest. It was an online short film contest, and he created his entry, which starred his dog, and he was excited about it. It won the Judges Film Prize, and it got a financial award. And so he decided to run with it, basically. Except Indy's not a dog that, there are dogs that are trained to be actors, kind of. There are dogs that you see in different movies. There are dog actors. Yeah. Indy is not a dog actor. Indy was a dog. And I love the way they were telling things in the beginning, because you could tell, I think, those were his own home videos with the dog.
Yeah.
And there was this whole thing where you didn't ever really see the face close up until the end. Like,
there's a whole thing about that we will talk about.
Excellent. I'm so glad. So to continue production notes, since I've kind of talked a little bit about it already, this was filmed over a period of 3 years in a house in New Jersey. It is Ben Leonberg's directorial debut, and he also co-wrote the script with Alex Cannon. We've already mentioned his dog stars in the film. So the budget for this one was $70,000, and I think he funded it with the winnings of that short film that he had entered in that contest. He's grossed, or the film has grossed, $8.5 million, 73 minutes long, so it's not a long watch. Pake, give us a synopsis.
Yeah. A loyal dog moves to a rural family home with his owner, only to discover supernatural forces lurking in the shadows. As dark entities threaten his human companion, the brave pup must fight to protect the one he loves most.
Yeah, Indy was a very resourceful dog. I also think this movie really explores the bond between a dog and its human. And you hear stories like that where dogs will rescue people from fires. They'll alert the family to fire, or there are dogs that serve as service animals and are able to detect when something's happened, if someone's going to have a seizure or something. And this really showcases that in a horror movie form, because you see the connection, and it's not always perfect. Like, there are times that Todd doesn't want Indy around when he's really struggling and suffering, but I think it really is kind of a beautiful glimpse into that connection that animals can have with humans.
Yeah. Yeah, and it gave us one of the absolute biggest stars of 2025. Indy.
Indy.
Can a dog be eligible for an Oscar?
I
don't know.
I feel like there should be some special award for animal actors.
Yeah.
Real animal actors, not the animatronic anaconda from Anaconda. Okay? I'm talking about a real animal.
Oh, the new Anaconda does come out soon. That I'm going to have to go see. I'm excited.
Is that because Jack Black is in it? Because he's in that one, the new one,
Paul
right?
Rudd is more... I'm more of a Paul Rudd fan than a Jack Black fan, but they're both fun. But just, I love the premise of it, is these guys going down to the Amazon to remake the original movie and then finding themselves in the middle of, like, actual, like, I love it.
I think it's going to be one that we're going to have a blast talking about.
Absolutely.
We haven't even covered any of the others. I'm not sure we ever should.
Who needs them?
But I feel like we have to cover this one because you're right, Paul Rudd. Jack Black, Paul Rudd. It's going to be a ton of fun. But no movie anacondas. It's got to be like animal actors. And it kind of takes me back to the movie that we did in our first season. It was the first movie that we covered.
That was Tremors.
No, not Tremors. It was the first new released movie. And it was released on, I think, Netflix.
Are you thinking of Love and Monsters? I think that was an Amazon Prime release, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So, what I'm saying is, the dog from Love and Monsters is another animal actor, I think, that did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
So I feel like there should be some love for that. The effort that goes into that. For the animal and the trainer.
Yeah, I'd be behind that.
There should be something.
Justice for Indy.
Justice for Indy.
Indy didn't get an Oscar snub.
Yeah. We haven't even come to the Oscars yet. The nominations are not even...
Oh, we'll be there soon, before we even know it.
I know.
It's close enough that I'm already pre-gaming on my death race.
Hey,
so
we were pre-gaming when you were doing Sinners back in June.
True.
Okay?
But like,
we've been
all
picking
genres now. I'm just on my own time, just watching movies right now. On ones that I predict or other people predict will get nominations.
Yeah. Tonight at Trivia, we had a question that we got wrong. Yeah. It was basically the highest paid actor, and it's a woman, not a man. And we gave a bunch of different names before we put our answer down. The correct answer was Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. It's pretty wild.
She was great in Superstore, and that's a joke for like 2 people.
I thought you were going to say she was great in Eight-Legged Freaks. That goes back even further.
I have another one of those jokes in here that's for like 2 people. But I sometimes have to do it.
There are people that love us for that, right?
Anything Dropout related. It's like nobody gets it, but if you do, wink, wink. You're gonna love it. Yeah, let's get to this movie. And again, this is another one of those. I was like, we're not worried about characters necessarily because it's all linear, following one thing, really.
Indy. We're following Indy the whole time, really.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you mentioned, this like thing of dogs and pets being more in tune with supernatural stuff. And some people believe that. So, yeah, I like them playing off of that with before you even know what's going on. Indy like noticing and watching the figure in the corner. And then as the movie goes on doing that, it was really interesting for me. Because whenever I'm like taking notes on a first watch of stuff, some of these, especially when we do it chronologically like this, where I'm just trying to predict things or guess things. And I wasn't sure what direction they were going to take it because it was very vague at first with Todd, where I was like, is it, we see, he's had Indy since a little puppy and they've been joined at the hip. And then you like see like he's having issues as like the movie starts with, the blood coming from his mouth and he's like having like a seizure or whatever, basically. And then he's, in the hospital and you see his sister's worried about him. And I think I didn't have any captions or subtitles on or anything. But it was hard to hear everything that they said when she was like on the phone with him. But I thought she had said something about like a relapse. And so I was like thinking at first it was like a addiction thing, like
it's
like
not.
Drug addiction. And so I was like trying to think of that and I was like, well, that would make sense for like the literal dark shadow following him. That was kind of the direction I was thinking. And then even like the stuff with the grandpa where it was like, and I think they wanted to lead like some of that vaguely at first, where it's like there's something wrong with him. And then, because she was even saying stuff on the phone, is like, well, he seemed so happy, but I guess he hid it behind. So I was like, oh, it's a depression thing. We cover 1 billion of those movies. I know what we're doing. And so it kind of seemed like, because even they're like, oh, we found him in the woods, the neighbor says. So I was like, depression, like mental illness, is genetic. And so like I'm at first thinking like, okay, so he gets that from his grandfather, who must have like taken his own life out in the woods, losing a battle with depression. And now Todd is also depressed. And that's not the case. Is like eventually you learn it's like, oh no, it's like an actual, like, not saying that depression is not an actual disease. It is, but like a terminal illness.
Right. It's an actual physical, like, it involves organs.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, he has a chronic lung disease.
Mm-hmm.
And his symptoms kind of fall in line with that. And watching, like, the shadows that Indy keeps seeing, and we'll get into it. I've got all these notes as we go through. Well, is he doing this? Is this why he's there? Like, so we'll get to those.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah, and so there was Todd going out to the house. So I was like, well, if it's like a mental illness thing, at first you like think the worst is like, oh, he's getting away from everybody else if he's like thinking of ending things or something. But then I was like, or maybe he's in a more positive place where it's like, no, let me get a change of scenery and like get away from like the busy city and like try to like work on myself. So I was like, it could go either way. But I think I don't think that it's that he knows that like he doesn't have a lot of time. He's stubborn.
Incredibly stubborn.
He like his sister's trying to help him and he just like chews her out for, treating him like a patient. And he's just like got this whole thing where he's like, no, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to get help. Which I guess kind of outside of this even speaks for like, pay attention to your health and like take care of yourself. It's an important thing for people to do.
Yeah. There's a reason why as you grow older, you're encouraged to get specific tests to determine if you have different diseases. It's just part of life. Although he didn't seem to be, he seemed very young.
Yeah. But he mentions, when he's just talking to Indy, kind of to himself, when they're in the graveyard, that he says, yeah, all my family's buried out here and they all died young. Like he mentions that, like this is a genetic thing.
Yeah.
That runs in his family. It's kind of the house is haunted because it's this literal genetic curse in a way that his family has dealt with for generations, which is even more reason why he should have been more on top of it. But we even see when he's at the like hospital and the doctor's telling him like even for like experimental trials, it's progressed too much. It's too late for them to do anything, so they're not even going to waste the time or resources on him. Yeah.
And they basically sit there and say that to him. Like, I mean, basically what he was told is, you've got no hope. What you have left, what time you have left, is what time you have left. There's no treatment. There's nothing that can be done. Here you are.
Yeah.
And I wondered, because he leaves town and pisses off his sister to go to his grandfather's. And there's a moment where Vera is texting him, asking him if it came back, which means he's having a relapse of things. So it's bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I started to wonder if he did go there to die. Like if he didn't end it himself, if he went there knowing that he didn't have a lot of time left and he just wanted to be alone.
Yeah, I would say maybe, except for he's upset when he goes to the hospital and he was like, I'm willing for you to, do this experimental trial. Let me be your guinea pig. Like, so which also could be like once he's actually faced with death right in the face, like then he might have like too late of a change of heart and going, wait, no, I actually don't want that. And now it's too late. You've taken too much time. Yeah.
You have to make decisions quickly, and sometimes healthcare moves very slowly, and that can be the difference between life and death, and that's incredibly sad. Yeah. I've had that happen in my life, and it's just devastating.
Yeah,
you can't wait too long. Tumors grow, things get bigger. Mm-hmm. You want to catch things as quickly as possible, and that's why, as a woman who's getting older, as uncomfortable as it is, I go and do the things I'm supposed to do because I'm trying to take care of myself. But often, I find that as adults, we are more worried about our car running or other things than about our own selves.
Yeah, and absolutely.
I think that's something that needs to shift. I'm not sure how to make that happen, but it's definitely something that needs to shift.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's too much of a rabbit hole to try to get into on this podcast, honestly. But I was like, but you can open up a whole can of worms about just the American healthcare system in general and how that leads to so much of that in people and the culture that's created. But yeah, I don't really feel like going all down that hole today.
No. I felt for Todd because, I mean, he was a young guy, and to be going through something and knowing it's a curse. I mean, as it appears in the movie, his grandfather suffered from it and died. So he knew it was probably likely he was going to end up with it. And at that age, to be faced with mortality, I can't even imagine what it must feel like.
Yeah, so this, like, figure following Todd around is death, in a way. His own death. And Indy is picking up on that and seeing it, not knowing what it is, but knowing it's a threat, it's a danger, and he's worried about it. And early on, we see that Indy is like one of those dogs that just doesn't bark.
Yeah.
It's like very quiet, like whines and stuff, and but it's very like quiet. So I immediately know, I was like, oh, we're gonna get to a point later, like near the end of the movie, where he starts barking, and that's how we know it's real serious. And yeah, we absolutely did get to that, and I was like, yeah, pays that off.
Did you notice we didn't really see Todd's face?
It's honest. I realized why they were doing that, and I kind of called the twist at the end, or not really even twist, but the payoff. So we don't see his face. It's concealed, covered in dark, blurred, out of frame, distance, whatever. And I realized it's not just him. We don't see any living person's face.
No, we don't.
Vera, his sister, the neighbor, had like the mask on and stuff, where then we saw him from behind or in the distance again. The only faces we see in the movie are, like, human faces, are the grandfather on the videos, who is deceased, and then, like, the actors in the old movies that are also no longer living, because these are old movies that he's watching. It is a hint, and I picked up on that immediately. I was like, you don't see living people's faces, and I knew immediately, I was like, there's going to be a point where we see Todd's face, and that means he's dead.
Yep. And
that's exactly what they did, because, you know, he dies, and then he sits up out of bed, and that's the first time you see his full face, and it was like, and he's dead. That's the confirmation I needed, because we're seeing his face. Yeah.
It was so rough. Like, I got really teary. I was so worried that something was going to happen to Indy, and watching the interaction between Todd and Indy throughout the movie just made me love their bond. And so knowing that he was interacting with Indy at the end as someone who was deceased, and then comforting him when it was time for him to go, because Indy wanted to save him. She wanted to protect him from all the shadows. And so it was here that I started to suspect. When he's at the house, he's watching this whole movie of his grandfather playing with his dog named Bandit. And Vera is talking to him on the phone. Is something off with Indy and about how, you know, things work? Vera's convinced the house is haunted. We get all these lightning flashes, and through Indy's eyes, we're seeing shadows and different things, like, popping up.
Oh, this movie had me looking in every corner in the backgrounds, like it was a Mike Flanagan haunting of series.
Yes! I went straight to Bly Manor right away. I'm like, oh my God, this is perfectly splendid in all the crazy ways. But this is when I started to think that Indy is trying to, or is feeling the impending death of Todd, and that these shadows represent death.
You know who Todd sounded like to me? His voice. And it especially stayed in my head because we didn't see his face for almost the whole movie. So I only heard one voice, and that was Podcastica's own Sean.
Really? I don't think it was his voice, not according to Wikipedia. However...
No, but I mean, but he sounds just like him. And that's all I heard the whole time. I wonder if anybody else thought that.
Did you guys think that? Let us know. Yeah, the whole face thing, it hit me at the end when we finally saw his face, and then you see him on the bed. It's like, okay. Yeah, that was the plan the whole time. Not to show us anything. To keep it quiet. And we learned, too, that Todd is planning to stay there indefinitely. He hadn't made any plans. He had, left. He didn't have a place in the city anymore. This was his plan, and I think he knew that the end was coming. And for some reason, he wanted to be at his grandfather's house.
Yeah. We get the neighbor, I think Mr. Downs.
Mr. Downs. Now, it's interesting because the synopsis on Wikipedia that goes through and explains... After I watch a movie, I go and read and see Like, did I miss something, or is someone pointing something out? They refer to him as Richard.
Yeah.
But to me, he's Mr. Downs because that's what my caption said.
That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, he's out like hunting and sees them, recognizes Todd. And that's where they're talking about, finding his grandpa and all these things. Of course, there's after we found his body, we never did find that dog. And I was like, I don't like that. Immediately, don't like that line at all.
No. Me either.
And as they're having that conversation, Indy's crawling up in that log, and then we get the glowing eyes in the log, which I was like, fox. There's fox traps here. They talk about foxes. That seems right.
And there are bones in there, too.
Yeah. Well, fox has got it. It's like a little, like, mice, gophers, moles, whatever the fox is dragged into that little den to eat. When I was a kid, I had a scare from the same thing. Not exactly the same, but I wasn't in a log. But I was mad at my dad for something or whatever, and I went outside to sit in the swing by the front door. And while I'm sitting out there, this pair of glowing eyes illuminates from under the shed across the driveway. And for whatever reason, it freaked me out so bad. I ran right back inside and decided I wasn't mad anymore. I don't care about anything. I'm going back inside. I don't want to be anywhere near that. I mean, obviously, it's just like some kind of animal at night.
It is. It's a reflection.
Cat, whatever. Yeah. But I really didn't like it.
No.
At that point, it was...
At that age, everything is amplified to infinity. And you're terrified at everything because you don't understand it.
Yep. You get the generator. Why? He only runs the generator when it's raining. That's no. What are you doing?
I started to wonder, is there something with the generator? Did the generator like have fumes that... I don't know. I was trying to figure it out because I didn't know. And I didn't watch any trailers for this one, so I had no idea. I just knew it was from the dog's point of view. That's all I knew.
Some good boy high fives in the car. But part of that is me because it's clear like Todd is like not listening to his sister's concerns. Like she's sitting here on the phone like worried about this. And you need to do this. You need to do that. And he's just like playing with Indy, and then like eventually just is tired of it. Just leaves the phone in the car with her talking and just gets out.
Yep.
It's like, come on, man. But yeah, he goes, and then he leaves for that whole day, the one day, and I don't know why. I think he went to the hospital.
I think
he comes back with the bandage. So
I wondered, it was like he either had a blood draw or an IV. Yeah. Because it was bleeding a lot, and it made me think that maybe it was an IV in his arm that he'd had. And he comes back feeling really awful.
Yeah.
Like, physically. Because he doesn't want Indy with him at that point. He's just pushing Indy away. Like, no.
I felt so... I was like, that poor dog. He didn't want to be left alone. Especially not in that house. There's some fucked up shit in that house.
I know. On every turn, there's something. He's seeing everything that's going on. And...
Yeah, because he sees Bandit. Grandpa's dog. And it was like a dream sequence almost. Indy was having his own last night in Soho throughout this movie, just like experiencing the life of Bandit and what Bandit saw and did at different points, which was interesting.
I felt at some points the way that it was filmed was almost like you were playing a video game, like that Stray video game. I don't know, like the animal through the animal's eyes. Yeah, there were just these different moments. Like Indy was asleep, but seeing visions kind of at the same time. Like a hand's coming out of the closet, and then this red bandana that he had seen, like, drops to the floor, and it's covered in blood, and you're just like, what? What is going on?
Bandit's bandana, and then he's hearing the sounds. It sounds like whimpering, like a dog from the basement, and then, like, becomes more human, like a person in distress. And then, of course, you see it's like, well, yeah, like, whatever. It's not really explained, but, like, this whole, like, not even basement, but even like the weird cellar thing with like the pathway in the wall.
Yeah.
What that really was, or if that really existed, like what it was just kind of like this.
It looked like a cave.
Passageway between life and death.
Yeah.
That like maybe the dogs only are privy to, but we see, they say they never found the dog. Indy found Bandit. And I think what happened was a similar thing. Whatever happened to Indy is, I guess, in this movie, whatever this is, the crossing over, the pathway from life and death is that cave in the cellar. because we know the grandpa died out in the woods. He was out walking around out there, I guess, when it finally took him. But still, Bandit ends up going to that little cellar area, probably the same way, like following his ghost, trying to save him. And then when he was gone, when he was taken over, covered in mud, becomes, whatever death has done to him. Bandit, unlike Indy, sat there waiting for him to return.
Waited, yeah.
And starved to death and just is there.
It's sad because I just wonder, like, how, in that instance, did it take them a long time to realize that he was in the woods and he had died? Because
that, or they just never thought to check there.
That seems crazy to me, that you would not check the house at all for any reason. You wouldn't go in the house.
Right.
Makes me think of another movie that we haven't covered, and I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give away any story item that I think will be fascinating for us to talk to, so I'm not going to spoil it.
Don't Red Hot Chili Peppers it.
I won't give it away, give it away, give it away now.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So as he's following Bandit around, ghost dog. And not in a, Pappy, I'm dying sort of way, but
no,
different ghost dog. Bandit here leading Indy upstairs. Yeah, and you say we can get those visuals where he sees the bandana and leads to like the figure coming out of the wall, and then this cave in the cellar.
And Todd gets home, and that's when he comes home, and I'm like, is he drunk? Because of the way he was walking up the stairs, and then you realize that no, he's been at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want anyone around.
Although we do get the one scene where he's like, and again, what's real, what's not, we don't know. A lot of this is, I think, exaggerated through the point of view of the dog, where some of the blood and some of the stuff maybe wasn't as bad as it seems, but like to Indy, it's just very over the top.
Yeah.
But at least we get Todd sleepwalking. Whether that was real or not, it could have also been dream Indy, with just this idea of Todd's form trying to go down to that cellar and cross over.
Yeah.
Because we don't, like, the next day, we don't see him with, like, a gash or, like, blunt force on his forehead where he was, like, banging his head against the door. So I don't know what was real or not. But I think it leaves us in that place.
Yeah.
With Indy, where it's just like, I'm confused. What's happening to my human?
Yeah, and again, it's through the dog's eyes. So it's their perspective. And their perspective is probably going to be different than ours anyway. Mm-hmm. Not just from the fact that they're only like 2.5 to 3 feet off the ground, but because the way they process and what they think when they're seeing things is different.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
We do realize, I guess, Todd is going there. He's going through all of these, like, home videos. Just, again, like, this connection with Grandpa, but also the Will. There's a video Will in there. And I don't know if he had seen it before or not. I don't think so, but that was a little, he was like, I leave to my daughter this, and there's like, and everything else, the house, to my grandson Todd. But it's like, wow, thanks, Grandpa. He's like, this place is horrid. 6 generations of this family have died here. I'm going to be next. I should have never come here. Anyway, Todd, it's all yours now. Congrats. It's like, wow, thanks a lot for that.
Yeah.
I want you to have it after all the torture and torment it's done to me. It's like, did you hate your grandson that much?
I mean, really? The taxidermy is left to the vegan sister, which is Todd's sister Vera. And then, yeah, Todd gets everything. It's just, I mean, at one point, too, Indy goes to where the chair is, where the grandpa had been sitting when he made the will video, and he's just sitting there. And then I wondered what spooked him, because he basically pees on the floor at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just seeing the grandpa and then that, like, muddy figure that comes up, and then there's, like, the corpse kind of thing that's, like, full,
that
like,
sits up behind
death. And we don't know what happens between that, because next we see Indy after that little corpse figure is he's covered in grime and cowering behind the basement door. So it was a bad time.
Makes me wonder, did he go in the cave? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so. And they kept talking about different smells. Like, Todd told Indy at that point when he's giving him a bath that he smells like death. And it does make me think that that cave, if it is like some pathway to the afterlife or whatever, that maybe it smells because it is about decay and death.
Yeah.
And then Todd pukes up on Indy in the blood, and I just, it's like, this, ugh.
Mm-hmm. And that's what sends him to the hospital to, like, really try to check on things, which, as we talked about, was too late. And even after he gets, you know, the doctor says, I'm not going to treat you, it's progressed too far. I was like, and I'm going to go out on a wild limb here and guess he doesn't tell his sister about that.
No, because at that point, I think he was just he didn't want to be treated like a patient. He wanted to be treated like a person. And at that point, too, he's putting together things at his house. Like, he's burning sage and he's trying to, like, get, what is it? Hyssop or honeysuckle root. Mm-hmm. He's just trying to, I don't know if it's new age medicine that he's trying to do. And then I wondered if the shadows were not just death, but also his illness and a manifestation of his illness. Like being the dirt and the grime taking over before death. And then something happened that I didn't expect to see in a movie. At this point, Todd's watching a horror movie on the TV. And I knew instantly what the horror movie was. It is an old movie from the 80s called Mutant.
Oh, nice.
And at one point, you see this guy, get pulled under the bed. And I actually wrote in my notes, oh, they showed Mike being eaten by Penelope Mapes. Okay. Because that was the precursor. Mutant is actually not a bad movie. I liked it. We could cover it someday if we need something.
All right. Well, you already spoiled a big part of it, I think, so.
No, not really. That's only... there's so much more.
Yeah.
I love the flip between, like, making us think that it's what's real and what's supernatural, or if there even is anything supernatural, or if they're just using these shadows and figures to push us in the direction of thinking it's so much bigger than it is. Because I think, in the end, a lot of the effects and the, like, overcome the grime before they're taken away really was visually manifesting or explaining the process of death and letting go.
Yeah. Where it's, again, with Vera, does a lot of exposition over the phone of, you know, Indy being around Todd, and, you know, dogs, their smells, like, they can smell sickness and stuff on you. Like, so if he's worried about you, like, get that. And so a lot of that is just the senses of, like, that's kind of how it manifests itself to Indy, is through these things. This, like, illness and oncoming death has this form to Indy. And eventually even to Todd, which is, I thought that was, like, a really cool, like, as you see him get worse, which, man, I think maybe one of the most intense, other than, like, the ending after Todd is actually dead, and then we get him being dragged away and Indy doing everything he can to go after him. But before that, like, what was super intense is, you know, Indy dreaming of finding Todd's body in the basement, and then wakes up and then gets grabbed and pulled from under the bed, and it's real because Todd, just in his sickness, has fallen off the bed and is, like, on the floor by the wall and just is reaching for comfort.
Yeah.
But of course, death is all over him, and so Indy is, like, scared and confused and ends up biting Todd and making that worse. And then it seems that, like, you even think Todd dies at that point because, you know, all these shadows and figures, or maybe it's just one, it's kind of like this figure of death. At first, it's just Indy that can see it, but you even see by the end, Todd is starting to notice things and is like, what is that? Who's there? As it's closer and closer to him, that veil is kind of thinned to where even he's realizing death is after him in some form.
I had a relative who was near death, and before she passed away, she was talking about seeing people. And the people that she was seeing are people that had died previously. And so I think that lines up maybe with what you're saying. Like, he was actually seeing the Grim Reaper coming for him, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, yeah, as far as the door shut and all that, Indy having to get out of there, which, because this dog, yeah, making the plan that he doesn't know what's happened, but it's thinking the absolute worst for his person. So he's going to jump out the window, make a run through the woods so he can go wake up the neighbor. And he knows how to, like, get over there. I was like, truly the goodest of boys.
Yes.
Although I was like, that is quite the jump out of there. Be careful.
Yeah, he's not like a cat. Cats have a much easier time of landing. And I think the first jump, like, onto the, like, roof that was outside the window was probably okay. But when he went down to the bushes, I was like, he's going to be limping. This is not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just run off for the neighbor, of course, doesn't quite work out because the damn fox traps that the guy wouldn't shut up about constantly mentioned to him. So yeah, of course it's going to come into play. But then this figure comes for Indy, and we realize Todd was still alive and managed to worry enough about his dog to walk his extremely sick self back out into the woods, get the fox trap off of Indy, take him back out to the house, but then leaves him chained up outside in the rain.
Which is not something I think Todd would do. Like, I feel like even though Indy bit him, I think Todd would not have put him outside and hooked him up like that. And at one point, he's telling him, I told you to stay. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, he's not really going to be moving now, is he?
Mm-mm. I am wondering, because again, the eyes popped up, and I was like, immediately, I'm like, fox. It's fox. And then we see the fox come out. I don't know necessarily what the purpose of that was. I'm sure I didn't look into it enough, and I'm sure, like, red foxes are, you know, symbolism of something. All I know is I love them. I love red foxes so much. There's one that I see around work from time to time, and I always love seeing him run around, and I always get happy. I'm like, fox! Every time. And now there's like a little like gray one that's been following him around sometimes. I'm like, now it's foxes sometimes, and I love seeing foxes.
That is so sweet. Animals in the wild is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
I remember one of the first videos you ever sent me was of deer running and leaping. And it just seemed surreal to me that you could even get a video of that because there were so many deer.
Oh, I see them all the time. Just because work is off the lake, and so all like the back roads and like areas back there around lakes, wildlife everywhere. Constant, yeah, deer and raccoons and possums and foxes and armadillos.
You get all of it there. We don't have quite all of that. We have possums, we have raccoons, some foxes. Where I grew up, there were, I've said this before, there was a moose that, when the tide was low, walked over from an island and just walked down the street. It was crazy to think that is what happened.
Every now and then a beaver or an alligator, not often, sometimes, but they're just a lot of wildlife. Which is nice. So yeah, I love foxes though. So seeing the fox, because I was like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like an ominous thing with the fox coming out, but I was just like, oh, I love him. I love him so much. Because you even hear it a little bit when the eyes pop up, and you hear them, and I was like, yep, that's a fox.
Yeah.
I did like the movies that are playing on the little TV always matched the vibe of whatever was happening in the movie.
Yeah.
Most impactfully, of course, is there at the end where the end is on the screen, and then it goes to black, and then you just see the little reflection of the flickering candle, and then it cuts over to Todd, and then the candle goes out as he also does too. I thought that was just like very impactful, but well done, incredibly well done. But that's also the first time you see his face is as he takes his last breath.
Yeah. It didn't hit me at first, but after we were probably halfway through the movie, I realized that I hadn't seen any faces really, and I wondered how that was going to tie into things.
I have a note here that says, big strong boy, fuck up that doghouse. So there's that.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. I mean, what initiative that dog showed. That was very creative to knock the doghouse over, resulting in being able to break the chain off the wall. And he goes back inside, and Todd is really, just before he dies, is seeing things like footprints on the floor. And you realize that it's definitely coming for him. He's near death, but Indy comes in instead, and he's so happy to see him, and he apologizes, and Indy is just like right there with him. And this is when we see his face and realize that he's gone. It's like, okay. And I wondered, oh my God, is Indy dead too? No, Indy can't be dead.
No.
Because that is what I had read, is that Indy, this was all like, Indy's body was found, and Indy had been dead too for whatever, but I think it got crossed with Bandit, because when Indy goes into the basement, he's able to get in there and sees Bandit curled up by the bulkhead doors.
Yeah. And they make sure to focus on that a couple of times, because it kind of makes you worried once you realize that, like, Indy goes down there, Todd is dead, the doors have all closed up, everything behind, and Indy is now stuck down there in that, like, cellar area.
I was worried about
the way that Bandit was. And so it kind of leaves you, like, are they going to have, is Indy facing the same fate? But I figured they wouldn't do that, honestly. And I was like, well, right when Todd was dying, we see his phone with Vera texting, call me now. And I figured she would take it upon herself to show up
absolutely
pretty soon. And that's exactly what happens. And Indy deciding to leave and go with her. Thank Gotch.
Aww.
Thank Gotch.
But Indy is actually sitting on the steps of the cellar, and it seemed like contemplative, leaving or what to do.
Yeah.
And you knew that Vera was going to absolutely go looking for Todd, because even if Todd had been mean to her or rude...
Yeah. I read it as she had already found Todd and was now looking for the dog. Because she was pretty messed up by the time she found Indy.
That could be. I loved what Todd said to Indy before he gets taken away. You're a good dog. Boy, you can't save me. You gotta stay here. Meaning he needed to stay alive. And he did kind of sit outside the cave, and then that's when Vera, a little bit later, Vera is there. Because she doesn't see Indy at first, but she sees the body of Bandit first, and then... Yeah, and then Indy is just kind of on the stairs. We get this final look, and he walks up the stairs. End of the movie. And this was rough, because I feel like throughout this movie we get Indy's fear and fight to save Todd. Even though it's not something that Todd can be saved from, the spirit of Indy and his fight to do whatever he could to save Todd, barking only at specific times. I mean, as the movie went on, the whimpering got more, but barking at that right time. I mean, you look at it and you realize that Indy would do whatever he had to do. And it honestly made those videos at the beginning of Todd and Indy, like Todd getting Indy as a puppy and the time that they spent together, it just made that even more incredibly lovely and sad at the same time. Because you realize that thankfully we get Vera, who I assume will take care of Indy. But there are so many people that don't have plans like that in place, and dogs, like, that's not what happens. Like, really sad things can happen to dogs after their owners are gone. So it's good to have plans in place. And I think having Indy will bring Vera a lot of comfort, because losing her brother, I'm sure, is devastating. I can't even imagine losing one of my siblings. It just seems unfathomable to me. I can't even understand what it would feel like. And so I'm sure, though, that Indy will bring a lot of comfort to Vera as she processes through this. I honestly want more of Ben Leonberg and his vision.
Yeah, I think, honestly, the acclaim that this movie has gotten in a lot of corners and a lot of places will open some doors for him. I think I would not be surprised to see his name attached to a bigger project in the future.
I really hope so, because there's something to be said for an understated, subtle approach like this. And I would love to see what he could do with a bigger budget. I think that, this year we've had some great films that have come out that have been a little bit different, or from directors that we hadn't really seen a lot from, or anything from. And so to get this one, I'm really excited and hope that he gets to do more. I mean, this is this is his first one, and there's nothing else. I mean, this is it. This is what he has, and going forward, I don't know what the plans are, but I think it's amazing what he did with this with such a small budget. And he took the time, you can tell. He really took the time to make every detail impactful. And as someone who enjoys movies, I really appreciate that.
For sure. It was one of those things where everything meant something. You could tell.
And you didn't know what it was going to mean. So I was making mental notes the whole way through. Like, I had notes like, is death coming for him? Is this what it's like? Are there bad fumes coming off the generator? Is Mr. Downs real? Is it death coming, or is it the tumor? Like, what's really going on? Because I didn't know what it was that was wrong with him at that time. And so I thought maybe he just had, I thought he had lung cancer or some other cancer condition. And just paying attention to every little thing, trying to get to the bottom of what the story was supposed to be. Because I really, like I said, had no idea. All I knew was that it was a horror movie from a dog's perspective. That's it. I had no other details.
Where's the best? I love going into stuff blind as much as I can. Which, that I rarely ever watch trailers or anything for anything, because I don't want that. Let me just enjoy something as it's given to me.
I know. And that is the opposite of me. I like to know everything I can know ahead of time. I like to dig into it. But I also step back too, and there are times that I really just want to go in and see what I'm getting without any, distraction or any preconceived notion. I just want to see what it's going to be like. And there are movies like that. I mean, I deal with spoilers all the time, and I'm okay with spoilers sometimes. But this season of Stranger Things, I'm I'm not Googling Stranger Things. I don't want to know anything because I'm afraid that as soon as episodes drop, I'm going to get spoiled. I don't want to know.
And then I'm in the position of podcasting on it, so then I really have to try to stay behind. But me and Rima have done a good job of, we recorded everything pretty quickly in a way that allowed us to watch all 4 episodes that are available pretty quickly with minimal spoiler threat. Now, when the next 3 come out and then there's only a week before the finale, I don't know how we're going to do that yet. We'll see. I may push for trying to double up again, even though all of the next episodes coming out are an hour and 40 minutes apiece. But
I know.
but then that way we can just like knock out the 3 episodes in a week and be ready for the finale to drop on time and just be able to watch it and then cover it and protect ourselves from spoilers the best we can. But we'll see. So anybody who's listening to Strange Indeed this season, which by the time you hear this, it'll be closer to that time, so we'll have decided what to do probably at that time. If not already, like, have the finale out at this point. But
it's so hard that they're doing this all around the holidays because people have like plans, like family plans, and maybe they think that families can sit down and watch it together, but I don't think my nieces can watch this yet. They're not of the age yet, but
not quite. Yeah.
No, but I think you could pull it off. If you did 1 episode on Saturday and then doubled up again on Tuesday like you did.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then
I think you could do it.
Then we'd be ready for the next week when the finale drops. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And yeah, again, as you're listening to this, if you probably have already figured out what we're doing. But the time we're recording this, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, well, I think we did it, Pake. I think we talked through this, and this is a movie that's going to sit with me for a while. I have a feeling I'm going to have to think about it a lot more. There's just things that, this connection between humans and animals, I definitely loved.
And there goes the feedback phone, and I have a feeling we might have some thoughts on this one, so...
Oh, yeah.
Have to check it out and see.
Okay.
All right, we have some feedback this week. I was hoping so. All the good boys and good girls out there that listen, that write in, we appreciate it. I didn't like it either when I said it. It felt thematical, but also I don't like it.
Well, that's too bad because it's staying in.
Of course. But we'll have this first one here from Connor, who says, "Love this movie so much. Very anxiety-inducing. I was so scared for Indy at multiple points during this film. POV from the dog during a horror movie, freaking brilliant."
I have to agree.
Yes.
Catherine also came through with some feedback. She says, "I was avoiding watching this one because while I was 99% sure the dog would survive, just the idea of a dog being in danger for the entire movie stressed me out. But I can't skip a week, so I watched with the support of my own good boy, who fell asleep before the last 30 minutes. At first, I thought it was a zombie movie, and the brother was turning in that first scene. I wasn't expecting to be analyzing how dogs view and cope with long-term illnesses and death. Somehow, that's scarier to me than a zombie outbreak or a supernatural, oily, muddy figure. I'll be hugging my 12-year-old Beagle Australian Shepherd mix, Ricky, extra tight tonight. He's losing his hearing, but he still alerts me when I have any visitors or deliveries, so monsters don't stand a chance around here either." And Catherine actually posted photos in our Facebook page of Ricky. He's so cute.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Go follow us on Facebook and check that out if you want. For speaking of like different social media stuff, of course, this last piece of feedback here actually comes from the Discord server, the Podcastica Discord server. So those you don't know, there is one of those, and then Run for Your Lives actually has its own separate channel that people can talk in, post in. So if you want to send feedback here, we have that. As far as how to get into that, I can't give you that information right now. I don't know for sure. But if you go to the Podcastica public Facebook group, you should be able to ask around and get some information for the passwords and information on how to get into the Podcastica server from there if you use Discord. And then, yeah, you can check that. Me and Daphne are on there, and you can hit us up on the Run for Your Lives channel and send feedback that way. So we've never really done like usernames too much here, but this last one here is just a username from Discord. Papa Herf gave some feedback, and they said, "I really enjoyed it. To start, it had an easy-to-digest runtime, which I'm always a fan of for horror movies. If they're too long, it starts to feel draggy. Getting the dog's perspective was so cool, considering most horror movies involving animals always like to tell us animals can sense the danger, but we've never seen what the animal is actually going through. And the horror was actually really well done. I jumped a few times, which doesn't happen to me often. I found the story interesting, and the way the owner's struggles were viewed through the dog's eyes was really something so different and unique. Definitely recommend this to anyone who's into horror and wants to see something out of the ordinary, in a good way.
Well, thank you, Papa Herf. And thank you to Catherine and Connor for your feedback on Good Boy. As Pig said, we have a channel on the Podcastica Discord server, and he told you how to find out more information on it. If you'd like to submit feedback via our regular channels, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Run For Your Lives Podcast, or you can email us at runforyourlivespodcast@gmail.com. As always, you can go to runforyourlivespodcast.com for all the links that you're ever going to need. And if you're enjoying the show, tell your friends. We're available on all the podcast players, including Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and more. If you feel so inclined, drop us a review on Apple Podcasts, as that's the best way to share the love and get us out there even more. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Of course, and speaking of sharing the love, I got to give those shout outs to things going on in the Podcastica universe around us and beyond. A lot of great stuff for you to check out. Of course, my other podcast, Strange Indeed, me and Rima trucking through this final season of Stranger Things. That's been a lot of fun, so you can check out our episode 4 coverage, which is the last episode of this first volume and last one that's out for everybody right now. So we're caught up with you guys, at least for another week, until, well, a little less than a week, but Christmas Day will be the next bunch, and then we should cover episode 5 that weekend, next weekend. But right now you can check out our episode 4 coverage. A lot to talk about on that one. Long episode, but a lot of great fun conversation between me and Rima. So definitely check that out and stay tuned for the rest of the season. I think we're going to try to truck through this volume 2 pretty quickly and have it all done and ready for you before the finale drops. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of work, a lot of podcasting on Stranger Things coming up for me in my near future. A lot of prep, but it'll be fun. It'll be worth it. So definitely check that out over on Strange Indeed. Then on The Cast of Us, The Walking Dead rewatch continues on. Jason and Lucy are joined by Danielle this week to cover Season 5, Episode 9 on that rewatch. So you can check that out over on The Cast of Us. Wax Episodic, staying busy, wrapping up their coverage of It, Welcome to Derry, with the finale of Season 1 out right now. You can check out Jason and Sean covering that. Whew, what a finale that
Yes.
was. A lot of great stuff to break down in that episode, so definitely go check out their coverage and conversation on that. Also, Pluribus over on Apple TV, continuing on the Vince Gilligan show, which has been incredible. That's literally, as we're recording this, my plan is to get out of here. Once Daphne finally lets me escape from the feedback machine, then I will go watch Pluribus for tonight. It's been great, and they've been covering that over there on Wax Episodic, so check that out as well. And now, Fallout over on Amazon Prime. Season 2 is here. The first episode of Season 2 is out, and that coverage, I think they recorded that tonight or last night as you're listening to this, or maybe. So either way, if it's not up right now, then it will be very, very soon. So check out their episode 1 of Season 2 coverage. I thought it was a great opener to this season. I'm excited for their thoughts on that and to continue this season. So definitely check that over on Wax Episodic as well. Cassie and Kara are joining Jason over there, so give it a listen. There are some newer podcasts as well. Of course, talk about They Did What, the kind of documentary and true crime series podcast over there. Kelsey and Jen have been doing some really great stuff over there. They recently did the Alabama Solution, which is because, if you listen to this long enough, Oscar nerd stuff, that one is on the short list for Oscars documentaries. So there's a possibility for that. So I just want to give them a shout out for picking some good stuff to check out for sure. And they covered that. This week you can go over there. They are covering a Paramount documentary called Predators, that documentary series there, so you can check that out as well. A lot of good stuff. And then we have a new it's a Scott Pilgrim thing, new yeah, new podcast, Puckett, which of course Danny and Jenny getting together to talk about the new HBO Max series, Heated Rivalry, getting a lot of buzz right now in a lot of places. So if you're a fan of the hockey show on HBO Max, definitely check out Puckett and their coverage of there. They've got episodes 1 and 2 for you to listen to right now available. So go check those out.
From what I understand, it's already been renewed for season 2. So that's a good sign.
Nice. Yeah, always a good sign. HBO takes care of their shows a lot better than others sometimes, though. So
are you referring to the Santa Clarita Diet, Peg, or
maybe
Glow?
I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, a few of those shows.
Perhaps. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and of course, speaking of Beyond, we always give some shout-outs to our good friends over at Pirate Core Entertainment Podcast Network. They do a lot of great stuff as well. What's On Tonight has also been covering it. Welcome to Derry, so you can get their coverage of all of that over there as well. Becky and Mandy doing a great job on that, so go give them some love as well. If you want more of me and Daphne, which why wouldn't you? We're amazing, I think. You can check us out over on our other podcast, Buffalo Podcast, with our friends Jeff and Jerry, playing games, talking, hanging out, making each other laugh, or full of misery. I don't know, one or the other. Sometimes both at the same time. We figure that out. So it's a good time. You can go check that out and give it a listen, because we're having a blast over there. So come join us and have a blast with us. But yeah, after you check out all of that wonderful, awesome, great podcastic goodness, you can come and then Beyond as well. There's some other stuff. But yeah, a lot of good podcast stuff. And then you can come back here next week. And yeah, next week might be a holiday. Maybe. Possibly. And so we might possibly, maybe, have a holiday special for you to check out. I don't know. Daphne, what are we doing next week?
Near Christmas, a babysitter settles in to watch a preteen boy only to find herself trapped in a night of escalating terror when a supposed home invasion turns disturbingly personal. We are covering Zach Peckover's 2016 film, Better Watch Out. It is our 2025 Christmas special. It is our gift to you, and we will be dropping it on Thursday. Merry Christmas.
Yay! Holiday gift. You get a day early. You get to hear our voices. So you're welcome, or I'm sorry. I don't know. Either one.
Yes, we will give you some time for feedback, so watch for that post over the weekend. You can go to Discord and leave us feedback there, Facebook page, Instagram, wherever. We hope to hear from you. If you guys have or haven't seen this, you have a little time to watch it. But with that, we've reached the end of another fun episode. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pate.
And if you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Bye-bye.